Right, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, it's not just me today. It's Brandon who gets constant shout outs. Go check him out on his channel Unnecessary Rambling, which obviously I occasionally frequent on there myself. But thanks for joining me.
Very frequent, my friend. You are on there all the time, and I'm always happy to have you, and I'm happy to return the favor. You do too much for my channel, so I had to hop on over here and do a little get dabble in your neck of the woods, which is the trophies and achievements. And honestly, I don't know if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I would even like. I never have cared about achievements or trophies whatsoever ever in my
Right.
life until talking to you. And then talking to you, I started kind of trying to find the fun in the hunt. And now I'm kind of getting to a point, and we'll talk about it. I guess that's sort of the whole point of all this is just to talk about all this stuff. I'm getting to the point where there's some level of enjoyment in it that I never really understood before.
Yeah, it's something where obviously these pot that you can't turn them off. That's some people actually hate that you can't turn off like trophies and stuff. You can turn off like the notifications, but you are technically earning stuff all the time.
Yep.
And so a lot of people go through and they play the games because that's what hooked a lot of people on PlayStation.
That's
And
the
I think
pop.
that's what Sony kind of was like, huh, maybe we can actually like use this because of for a lot of their PS4 first party titles, they had pretty easy lists for the
Mm.
platinums, like Spider-Man, flagship title and stuff. And that's what really got people addicted. And then they started like buying up tons of different games, and then that became like a huge community because it was weird because Xbox kind of kicked it off and had
Yeah.
an achievement system in place, and then Sony you had it like I think a year later, 2 years later. So they were a latecomer, but it's completely flipped. Like a lot of people on Xbox don't really care about achievements anymore. Whereas on PlayStation, that's where people have actually transitioned over because the platinum
The
exists.
platinum. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
so you'll see. I mean, you can see right there at the top, 8 completed games. That means platinum, right?
I believe so. So I
Yeah.
will say I don't frequent PSN profiles, so I'm not going to be like a pro at navigating the site. I obviously use True Achievements, but I believe that is 8 platinums because
Yeah.
you can get a platinum, but it's not 100% sometimes in
Mm.
PlayStation's case because they add DLC stuff. Whereas with Xbox, we don't have
Okay.
a platinum equivalent. You're always working towards the 100%. But
So
8 platinums
it
is good.
well, that's what I was gonna say is like the the 8 platinums for me, it's nothing, it's all happenstance except for one game. The only game I've ever actually went out of my way to platinum is this year with NCAA football 25, just because I wanted to keep doing things and playing, trying whatever it told me to do. It's like just another reason to continue playing the game. Um, but like everything else is just Telltale games. And then actually a recent one. So I talked about it on the channel. One of my goals was to get weird, to dabble into some of the indies that I've never heard of. And I just randomly stumbled upon one. It wasn't like one of the, click a button to get a platinum things, but I think it's like I don't know, a step or two removed from that. It was like a card game.
Okay.
And it had like good reviews on the PlayStation Store, and it was like $10, so I just picked it up along with the body 3D platform. And whenever we go through it, you'll see it. So that's like the only other platinum that I have on there. That's another just kind of a random one that I never heard of the game in my life until a week ago.
Yeah, like 8 platinums, that's not bad for somebody who doesn't trophy hunt. But I think the biggest thing is this because I assume you can see my mouse hovering
The
this.
25% completion.
25%, that shows like when it's broken down across all the games, that means you're for the majority of your games, you're rolling credits on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, probably.
because of the way that because if you don't dabble too much into the side stuff and you're just focusing on the story stuff, you end up getting about 25% of trophies or achievements, as it were, for the stuff. So 25%,
Oh,
that
so
shows me
that's
that you finish.
25% of all the trophies, not just 25% completion of. Okay, okay. Because yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say if I only beat 25% of the games on this list, then that'd be kind of. But this is I got 25% of the trophies out of
Yeah,
everything on this list.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
makes sense.
compiling everything and then breaking it down into that. But
I
before
mean,
we, yeah, go on, sorry.
I, I will say I'm top 55,000 in the country for trophies. That is kind of like that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Um, to for someone who doesn't hunt trophies whatsoever, like okay, I'll take top 55,000
Yeah. And you've broken the top 200,000 of the world.
in the world. I mean,
So
that is kind of cool.
yeah, we'll click on the
Oh,
stats click. Go on. Sorry, what?
my bad. We also should say that my profile here, um, so I created my profile in 2014 as well.
Yep.
So it would probably, I see the trophy level at 358. I would assume if I had it all throughout the PlayStation 3, because I owned a PS3, but I was a kid when the PlayStation 3 came out. So whenever I think I was let's see, the PS4, I bought it in 2014. So I would have been like 18 when I bought the PS4. So I was adult at that point. And so, I went in and created my own account and had my own email. But back in the PS3, I was just like using my mom's email and I never had any digital games or anything. So I never carried that over
Yep.
for the PlayStation 4 because once again, I never even thought about trophies. It was not even in the back of my head. It was not something I wanted to make sure that I was tracking from console to console. Which and now I'm like so bummed out about it. But also, Loon, this is another cool thing about kind of getting into trophies now or achievements is that so we were talking about it the other day. I was like, damn, I wonder if I would be around 500, level 500, level, 450, whatever the case, if I had all of my trophies from the PS3. And I was like, damn, it would be kind of cool to see that. And I was a little bit bummed. But then I started thinking about, I was like, ooh, I got completely clean trophy sets that I can go back to for like Infamous 2 and for Mass Effect, which you obviously see but dude, I'm diving nothing but PS3 this year. I'm diving into Infamous 2. I want to play. Does Metal Gear Solid 4 have trophies?
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab MGS4's trophy set. I'm not going in for platinums or anything, but it's just an excuse to play the games again. So I'm like kind of pumped.
That's the thing as well. A lot of people, when you talk about like achievement hunting and stuff, what actually got it off the ground was the Achievement Hunter channel. I don't know if you ever like stumbled upon that back in the day. It had like a guy called Jeff on it, and what they actually did, it wasn't 100% in games. They were specifically targeting like one specific achievement. It's like a really hard
Oh,
miscellaneous unique achievement, and that's how like they opened people's eyes to it and stuff. You had the
just
other
another way to play
people,
the game.
yeah, exactly, and that's kind of
Yeah.
how you're interacting with it. You're not viewing it as like, oh, I'm gonna go 100%, 100%, 100%. You're like, man, I want to go back in and like have them. They're just badges essentially to show that you've done these games and stuff like that.
Right. So my thing is every time I've tried to 100% a game, other than like a college football, I typically come away from the game more sour than if I would have just put it down around whatever it naturally caps out at 45, 50,
Yeah,
35, whatever. And so I've noticed that in my brain, so I've kind of like tabbed that. I'm like, okay, let me make note of that. I don't want to go down the route where I'm not enjoying games. As soon as I'm hunting for something and it gets to a point where I'm not enjoying it, I'm like, all right, I'm out. But there is that element of if you are enjoying the trophy hunt, then it's like a new, totally satisfying venture that I never really related to or understood before talking to you about it. So I appreciate you
yeah.
for getting me into the rabbit hole, my friend.
I apologize. Before we jump into your stats and stuff, which we'll quickly glaze over them. The name. I think that's always like what people. Oh no, I've highlighted. When it's something weird like that, because that to me that I don't know what that is. So it's always nice and interesting to hear like the backstory behind somebody's like profile name.
All right. So I'm gonna pull this up for y'all to see it. There's a basketball player named Andrei Kirilenko,
Okay.
and it was it just stuck with me. It was one time I was with my buddies and playing NBA 2K like 16 on the park or whatever online, and we had the microphones hooked up and stuff, and like someone jumped into the chat, and I guess that my character, it was just he kind of roasted me. He said, "Oh, Andre Karolinko looking ass," and so I don't know if y'all could see it. Hold on, let me try to scoot up. Um, so that's Andre
Oh,
Karolinko, and
oh,
I
that's
was like,
amazing.
that's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Andre Karolinko looking ass. That's how I named my dude Young Karolinko. And the 410 is because Andre Karolinko is, if I'm not mistaken, one of the only NBA players in history who has recorded a quadruple double. So he had 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals, I believe, in a game, which is like unbelievably difficult to do.
Okay. See, that's what I mean. That's the cool like backstory behind it and stuff. When like you see somebody's like username and stuff, and it's not like because it's always what like kind of bums me out a little bit when people get the pre-generated names and then never change
Mm,
them. That seems very boring and kind of vanilla. But when somebody
yeah.
like I knew you'd change that. That's not something that PlayStation would have generated.
Right, right.
So yeah, had to hear the history of that.
Yeah, no, it was one of the funniest roasts I'd ever encountered. And you hear so much vitriol online, just hateful stuff. That was one that was actually like it resonated with me. It was so funny. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna own that one.
So yeah, we can kind of like quickly glaze over this. This isn't like too much in, to dive into, but it shows that, around about May 2014 is when you create
Bought
the
my
account,
PS4.
and then it shows that obviously this little graph showing like your monthly activity, how many trophies you were getting and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
you can see that you become a little bit more active over the
Yep.
past few years, getting a lot more rather than back here where it's like, for free. Or I assume you were doing, but you weren't doing content creation in this era, were you? In like 2016?
No. And I wasn't really like I play you'll see when we go through it. I played, you know, I would probably pick up new games, maybe 4 or 5 new games a year, something like that. But I was more so still playing like PS2 and original Xbox and PS1, and I wasn't really as focused on keeping up with everything current until about really until probably 2017, maybe something like that, 2018. Um, that's really the point where I was because I had a like throughout the PS3 era, I was still playing games. Like I played the Saints Row games and GTA 4 and Red Dead 1 and all the Resident Evils that came out and the Far Cry games and so forth and so on. But I didn't like that was a generation that I wasn't super hardcore into gaming throughout the PS3 era.
Right.
So a large part of when I got back into gaming around like 2013 or so was going back and trying to play all those classics that I had missed out on. So yeah, really around 2018 is when I kind of got the idea that I was like, damn, I'd really like to talk about this in some form or fashion, which I didn't really get into content creation until 2020. But at that point, I was like, you look at what everyone else is doing, and everyone else is mainly covering the new hotness, and I'm like, okay, well, I probably need to do that as well, and just because that's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I wanted to play the new stuff and have opinions on that, but you can't lie, and I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't influenced by what the likes of Kind of Funny and the likes of Game Informer at the time were doing. I definitely looked at those two outlets in specific as like I would kind of like to be doing that. So I just sort of emulated it in my own solo sort of fashion for the first few years.
Yeah, that's cool. And obviously this just shows you uh roughly what time you play games and pop trophies and stuff. So you're
Yeah, so
you avoid midnight by the looks of it. Big time.
that's weird. 2 a.m. and stuff. I don't.
You've definitely gained some because it says 6. You
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's kind of that's sort of when I'm working. Obviously, I'm not playing games, which I guess would make sense between 7 to 3, 7 to 5, kind of being typical work day range. Um, And but the thing I don't understand at all is the 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I'm definitely not earning trophies at those time
Mm.
periods.
Maybe
Um,
that fall because I don't know how they do their scans. Maybe their scans get backlogged then. Maybe when they
oh,
scan the
okay.
profile and then maybe designate it at that time. But
Yeah,
yeah, and then Friday is your most active day
makes
according to
sense.
all of these stuff. But
Yeah.
to the juicy stuff,
All right.
the actual titles themselves. God, I hate ads. Can't wait for us to do the true achievement stuff because I have Pro and that
Ah,
destroys all the ads, thankfully. But yeah. Um, before we dive into the specific games and stuff over here, I don't know how much you've like used the site.
I've never used it other than
Okay, so
to.
you cool. So over here are like cabinets and stuff. So this shows you of all the time from start to now. So it will give you these are your rarest trophies that you've ever earned. So only 1% of people have earned whatever that is in like NBA and stuff. And then
Yeah,
these are like your milestones and stuff.
I would assume probably all of my most rare trophies would be something to do with NBA 2K because like that's just I don't play it like that anymore, but back in the day, I mean, I probably every single 2K from probably 2K probably 10 to 2K 19, 18, I probably put over 500 hours into each one.
Yep. And what you got to keep in mind as well is the reason because sports games really do dominate like the rarest ones because obviously it has a massive fan base of people and
Hmm.
they don't usually go for the platinums and the harder
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
And then on top of that, there's so many of them that have server closures a year after. So these
Mm.
trophies become unobtainable. So even if say you purchase 2K16 right now, there's going to be a ton of online only trophies that become even rarer because people will pop single player trophies, and then that will be
I w-
taken into consideration.
I will say that full Mamba trophy, the silver one down there, the fourth one, that kind of bums me out, man. Only 2.5% of people got that. All you had to do was play through Kobe's like little legacy thing where you go through and oh well yeah, you have to get all the stars in it. Okay, you can play through it without getting the stars. That's right. That's right. Never mind. Okay.
So you conquered this, whatever this was.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking that that was just like only 2.5% of people played through Kobe's like best moments. That would have been kind of sad
That's
because Kobe
crazy.
passed
Like,
away.
just over 1,000 people in the world, and that.
That is crazy, man. It wasn't like anything hard at all. But I mean, I don't think 2K players are typically people who are trophy hunting and stuff, which I get it.
Yep. And then yeah, like I said over here, it shows you like for every 500 you get a milestone as to what them trophies were. But your first trophy was something to do with NBA, making coach proud. Your
Makes
first
sense.
platinum, Batman Telltale series.
I actually replayed that, as you see at the top there. I was trying to get me another platinum, but for some reason I didn't get the platinum when I ran it on PS3. But it is what it is.
And I don't know why that says 1,337 trophy.
Why it's
Why is that so
important.
why is that so special? Um, but your fastest platinum was Fool's Pub. Is that the thing that you was talking about?
Yep, that's
Okay,
it,
so
man.
we'll get to that when we come to it. But yeah, they're just the thing. I don't think there's any more. No, there's no more showcase. But yeah,
Nice.
then we'll begin on the games.
So we're
So
gonna go from like 2025, which is now, to about 2019 or so for both of us today. We'll do like two parts, a couple parts.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Cool.
So right,
So Mass
beginning,
Effect.
and thankfully it does designate what
Oh,
versions these are,
cool.
so we don't have to like guess. So it is a PS3.
Cool, man. Yeah. I just that was the thing we were talking about earlier. Now, obviously we ain't gonna go through and talk in depth about all of these, but that was the thing I was talking about earlier with you about feeling like I have that blank slate where I can go in and grab a bunch of these trophies from the PS3 because I didn't have them carried over. So I'm just pumped to keep on doing that.
So is this something that you finished now, or are you in the process of still playing it?
Yeah, I started it yesterday and finished it this morning.
Oh,
It
nice.
was yeah, but I mainlined it. I'm gonna go off and do the side content and all that as well.
Cool,
Um,
cool. And then
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors Origins. I'm interested to hear what you think about it because this is the newest one, right? That just came out.
Yeah, it's okay, man. It's more Dynasty Warriors. There's a little bit of a story there that was somewhat compelling, some somewhat okay writing, voice acting not so great, but the gameplay is what you expect.
I've heard it's a lot more challenging.
Yeah, there's like boss fights and stuff now where you actually
Yeah.
have to parry and you have to evade and you have like specific attack patterns that you have to memorize. It's not Soulsy, it's more like kinetic action, obviously. But it's cool. It's okay. It's not something I'm gonna finish, but it's not bad.
Cool, cool, cool. And then obviously, if there's anything that I skip over that you do want to specifically like target, by all
Yeah, well,
means.
actually, let me go ahead here real quick because I want to talk about my philosophy here. So,
Okay.
for still joking, actually, could you scroll down a little bit?
Tell me when to stop.
There's some stuff missing. Okay, well, never mind. Still joking, body. Keep going. Still joking, body, Bazluda, evil, whatever. Ease, the Oath in Felgana, Street Race Kings, Fool's Pub, Die by Anything. So those, there was a couple other ones. But those are kind of my, what I was talking about, where I'm just sort of dabbling, just sort of jumping into it and see, because like a new game will come out, a new indie game. I want to support them a little bit more. You know, they're often 15, $20 or less. I'm like, sure, let me check it out and see if anything interesting pops off. And there's like some game that might end up being my game of the year that is totally off the beaten path. Still joking. None of them so far have been quite that, but the one that I would like to shout out for people is that body game. If anybody's into like 3D platformers, it's not bad at all. It's like Astro, but obviously not to that quality bar like an indie sort of Astro. Um, yeah, that'd actually be cool if you could pull it up and I don't know if it shows any, yeah, probably no gameplay or anything like that pulls
So it
up.
doesn't show gameplay, but it's one of the things that you're shouting this out. It only has 77 people that have played it.
Oh my God.
That's to clarify that have PSN accounts,
Oh, okay. So,
profiles
okay,
account. This
okay.
isn't like across like every single thing. This is just people who have interacted with the website and stuff, and it will keep
But
count. That is crazy.
I would assume people who are playing something like this that's this niche are probably a little bit more into like, not necessarily trophy hunting, but more into like keeping up with their profile and because this is, I don't know if I heard nothing about this other than going to the recently released section on PSN and sorting it from most recent release. So I would have never
Well,
found it otherwise.
nobody's platinumed it either. Not a single person.
Oh wow.
It's at 0%. So when did this release? Sorry.
I mean, days ago.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense then. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to that. So you said it's like Astrobot, kind of
Yeah, a
esque.
lot like Astrobot. Yep.
Cool.
And so you
So
see all the sports games. I guess I'll hit on that while they're all there.
yeah.
Um, it's the same thing that I was talking to you about before of like that's probably the avenue that I'm the most bummed out is I've played literally every single sports game that's basketball, football, boxing, UFC, wrestling, which, most people probably don't consider wrestling a sport, which is fine, whatever. But um any game in that field, every extreme sports game, snowboarding, skateboarding, all of it. I love that stuff so much.
Mhm.
Played all of those throughout the PS3 era. Zero trophies for him. So once again, that's such a fun one to do for sports trophies because you can just put on a podcast, kind of
Yes.
zone out, and it's like, okay, well, Kevin Garnett needs to score 25 points, get 10 rebounds and 5 blocks. Well, that's my goal. Today I'm going to put the quarters on 12 minutes and try to get 25 points, 10 rebounds and 5 blocks with Kevin Garnett. So, yeah.
The thing that, as I said, bums me out is that the fact that you can't go back and 100% any of these games now.
Right.
That's the only like that's so gutting that they have online, and that's what a lot of people have problems with the sports games because, like you said, how awesome it would be to have just a collection. Like, because you would if I'm near certain that you would end up platinuming these over the
Oh,
course of
no doubt.
time. Like you would eventually get through all of them. I
Well,
think
and
that
that's
would
the
be a
thing.
driving factor. But now that that's not really, you'll probably get like a good amount of chunking through them, but it's not going to be a platinum you'll ever own, unfortunately, and that's sad.
Yeah, it's such a bummer. But well, and once again, I'm not trying to necessarily hunt for platinums, but it is the thing where for a game like say college football 2011 or whatever, I think pretty much all of the trophies are just playing the game. So
Yeah,
I'll happily do all that because I just love playing those games. And then to be completely honest, I'm not going to say there's no content oriented goals surrounding this whatsoever. Like, seeing the uh if I can go through and play all of these college football games to some degree, then there is a chance where it's like, okay, when college football 26 comes up, maybe I can do a ranking and maybe there's some sort of monetary aspect I can think about there where it's like, hey, maybe this will pop off and maybe I can make a couple bucks out of it. So of course, my content brain is always kind of percolating a bit, but yeah, it's I love just playing some good old sports games.
yep, absolutely. Um, oh, Disco Elysium. Did you replay that? Because I was playing it out of kid.
Yep.
Did you see it and be like, "Oh, I'll get some of that"? Did you end up finishing it again?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no. So I just booted up from my last save,
Right.
and or booted not from my last save, but like from a recent save, and went back through and just dabbled with it for a little bit to see if like, because I'm not gonna lie, Disco Elysium is a game that I like a lot. I think it's one of the most well-written games ever, but I kind of I kind of don't love playing it. And I just wanted to, because we're going to rank it, obviously,
Yeah.
whenever we do our rankings. And I wanted to jump back into it because I wanted to see, I played like 3, 4 more hours of it just to see how I would feel, make some different choices, uh, just seeing how I would feel about it going back to it after the hype has died down. And I actually think I'm a little bit more positive on it than I was. I still don't like navigating that world. Um, but it's just so exceptionally well written. And the whole, the thing with your mind and having the different
Yeah.
voices in your head that are conflicting with one another and they're almost battling for your in a way submission. Like they're wanting you to submit to whatever voice is the loudest or whatever voice is the strongest, and they're trying to win over your action, which is really interesting.
Yeah. It's just all of like the most self-destructive urges, and you've given them a voice. And
Yeah,
it's almost like a minefield, your mind, where it's like it's so easy for you to just be like, okay, I'll just go back into that mindset. It's such a battle and so grueling to crawl and pick yourself up and actually be like, no, man, I'm gonna actually fix myself. Because there is
right.
the whole point of the story is that he's so broken as a human
Bro,
being.
that opening is like one of the greatest ever in video games of just like truly seeing a human that is a shell of a man. Like
Yeah.
it's so funny, man.
Yeah.
The Not to spoil anything too much, but like driving the police car into the lake,
Yep.
and then you can have that encounter later on in the game where you tell the guy, well, the serial killer, he's in the lake. He's an underwater serial killer. I wanted to go hunt him down. Like, I don't know, dude. Disco Elysium it's just so well written. Bummer though. What the hell? What's the deal with what does it say? I have 11%?
So that's yeah. Uh
5 out of 46 trophies. Like you can see I finished it. Um,
so I don't it doesn't really spoil anything. A lot of it is this. So you had a basic list, right? Because that's what I also noticed. A lot of these were DLCs, extras.
Oh,
And the
okay,
thing
okay,
is
okay.
that these were optional. This was an optional game mode. So you don't play this through the
Hmm.
story. And then these were just like little extra things that you can do.
Okay.
And then
What?
all of the entire list is missable. You can roll credits and never get a trophy.
Wait, am I cra Oh, okay, never mind. Uh, well, no, I'm right. Yeah, what I was thinking was right. They don't have a trophy for finishing the game. I mean,
Nope.
you see it the gold trophy there. That's right there at the end of the game. But like,
This is the last one that you would earn, would be
yeah,
this.
but see, that's the thing is you see where I completed it. I didn't make that choice whenever I first played the game.
Hmm.
So that trophy right there, that gold trophy, I would have missed out on if I didn't go back to the game and make different choices.
Yep.
Like that's kind of I don't know, that's kind of shitty. Like you should have some gold trophy for people finishing your game
It
or silver, whatever.
it is a gripe, for sure. Because when I remember seeing the list launch on True Achievements and stuff, there were people like every single thing's missable. There's not even like a story complete trophy. And yeah, I do. I'm 100% with you. I always like that to be a thing because what I got annoyed with myself, I was playing through the Darkness 1 and 2. And when I'm playing through games like that, I don't care for difficulty. I'm there to just blitz through it and just get it ticked off the backlog. The Darkness 1, playing it on the easy difficulty just to get through it, there's no achievement for rolling credits. It needs to be
Ah,
done
that's
on normal or
lame.
higher. And it's just like, so when I look back at true achievements in like 10 years' time, and I may forget about like playing the game, for instance,
Right.
it's not got the story flag to show that I've finished the
Ah,
story. So it's like, come on, man, you guys need to just have one of those in every game. It's a bit
that is
stupid.
lame.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
incredible game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want to play a game for some of the best writing ever, jump in. If you want to play a game for some of the most fun gameplay ever, you're probably not looking at Disco Elysium. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah.
But your first platinum, who's pub? 24 minutes. Ooh,
Yeah,
oh boy.
it's one of it's not one of those, but it's one of those. Like I I had no idea. Once again, as you see, there's a lot of those games, that style of game that we'll be looking through here in a second. You essentially play the game for 30 minutes and you're gonna get a platinum. Like it's a card game and genuinely it's not fun. Like it is kind of fun. You're pretty much playing Russian roulette and it's these damn animals that are killing themselves if they if like if you spot the liar or whatever and if you know if they click the gun and there's a bullet in the chamber their heads getting popped. But it's not it's not god awful or anything. It was just one of those really easy platinums, and I was like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, I think a lot of developers have realized that you don't have to make like completely terrible games
To
to
get
sell these kind of
fun,
because
yeah.
this is a platinum centric game because they've released one, two, three, four, five, six, seven versions of it.
Oh
So
my
there's seven
God.
platinums worth. So they are targeting that like grinding mindset of gamer, but like you said, the game itself is fun. So it
You
shows
know,
that you can do that and still make the game fun.
bro, it's funny that you mentioned that. There's a game that I just saw that was, I think it's like Fool's Liar or something that just came out. So I'm assuming it's probably these people,
We can look.
but like another version.
Oh, it doesn't show that they exist. I wonder
Oh,
why.
weird. Yeah, so that's
Hmm.
sketchy. Um, but yeah, so I think that might be them as well with that game Fool's Liar. So
Was it
maybe
today,
oh,
do you know?
it came out like really recently because I've been checking pretty much every day just to see if there's anything that looks somewhat interesting that I want to dive into that's like $10, $15, something like that. I could maybe I just saw Fool's Pub again. I could be wrong. But I thought I saw something called Fool's Liar. And I was like,
Yeah,
wow,
but that's
that's
it's the kind of thing that they do. You have these stacks and stuff. So when they are them games, they release all five like versions at once. So it is what it is.
yeah, I'm
You
gonna
had
look
fun
it
with it.
up. I mean, no, it's not like fun, I wouldn't say. It's just
Well,
something to
I
do.
don't assume it couldn't have cost more than like $10, right? Must have been.
$10.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like $10. And
it's
maybe
just one
that's
of
a
them
little bit too
things.
much.
So it's just
Um,
one of them things.
yeah, I guess I'm wrong. Maybe there's not a Fool's Liar. Damn, my bad.
It might have just been a fool's pub, like I said, because
Yeah, I
they
probably just saw
stack
it again.
them, and sometimes other games get shuffled in between them. So
Right.
stuff like that. But dude, Control, shout out.
I'm right there at the end of Control. I replayed that. I'm right there at the end of it. I got lost. That map is tough. I've already played through it and finished it before. I was playing through it again on the PS5, just, a new clean slate of trophies, and I just totally got lost playing. I was like, I completely forgot where to go. I put it down for like 4 days. I was like, oh shit, I don't know where to go. So I'm about to pull up a guide just to see exactly where I'm supposed to be going.
So it's weird because I guess I'm minorly spoiled. It is on obviously my list. It's one of my favorite games. I don't really like stacking.
Oh wow.
So personally, like I do it sometimes, but it has to be something very special. Control was one of them things. It had the
Mm,
Xbox One version, and then they re-released the Ultimate Edition. I've 100% both games.
wow.
Like I've done
Yeah.
both of them. It it's that special to me, and it's got such a good trophy list. So fun to do.
It's fun. Yeah, it is. It's super, super. And then once again, I haven't been going through and trying to, obviously not trying to platinum anything, but it's fun that, so I really like, because that was the thing I told you about Gamerscore that I liked, was that it was rapidly updating
Yep.
and you see it increasing consistently, frequently. I don't love that about the PlayStation system, where I'll spend weeks slogging to get from 357 to 358. You know what I mean? And so I wonder what the difference, because you really like you're more so focused on the 100% more than you are the gamer score. And I'm more focused on like the leveling and the gamer score than the 100%.
I think the number one thing, the driving factor for me is like the milestones of the numbers. So hitting like the next 10,000 is probably the most important thing because I don't 100% everything either. I'm
Oh,
very
okay.
like
Right.
particular with my 100. They either need to be some of my favorite games ever, and even then, if they're the favorite games ever, and it's something like Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous, where it's an absolute ball ache to 100%, then I don't end up doing that. But
Right.
yeah, it for me that's the level system in PlayStation just seems worthless. Personally, it doesn't
It's
seem like it
tough,
serves
man.
any purpose.
Yeah, it's tough because I don't know what it is about 500, but I maybe that'll change whenever I get to 500, but like that's the thing I want. So
Mhm.
for some reason I just want to get to 500. And there is a part of me that really is bummed out um that I don't have those PS3 trophies because I'm like I know I'd be somewhere around that 500 mark. I know I would, because even like UFC Undisputed 2010, um there's trophies in there for doing a bunch of like late game career stuff, but
Yep.
it takes you so long, so long to get to that shit. But I did all of that back in the day, and now I'm gonna have to spend 20 hours going through it again. Probably not 20, like 15, something like that.
But yeah, you seem to dabble. You dabble a lot and then jump out. Like you're happy with
Hmm.
doing that, and that's obviously fine. That's no shade thrown your way. That's probably healthy because I get tied down a lot. I kind of have a thing in the back of my head where it's a 50-50 fight all the time. I always have to get to the story credits. It's so hard for me to
Hmm.
just put a game down.
Well,
I will
you
always
remember
have that as like a driving factor.
when we did our gaming goals, that was a big one for me.
Mm,
It was like I gotta put games down, man. When I played through Harold Halibut last year and I played through Hellblade last year and Suicide Squad last year, which I think all of those are on Xbox, but when I played through all of those, it was just like, why am I doing this, man? You know what I mean? I did not understand why I kept going through them. But anyway, yeah, I, dabbling's a ton of fun to me because you get an idea for what the game is, and if it's not something you want to keep getting an idea for, you don't want to fully form that idea. It's like, well, cool, now I have a blank slate for something else I'm going to go jump into that's totally fresh, and maybe that'll click. It brings me back to the rental days, and that's the thing where I know a lot of people are split on Game Pass
yep.
and PlayStation Plus. I That's kind of one of the main things I like about it. But I do understand also I have very little investment when I'm downloading Death Stranding Director's Cut for free, essentially, as a part of my service. I don't really have any investment in finishing it.
Something I've also noticed as well is so where was it? So Disco Elysium, that was kind of spurred on because I was playing it and stuff like that.
Totally.
And that's kind of like a reoccurring theme because like the Outer Worlds was that because like Obsidian has been like dominating in like the new space, and then with The Last of Us Part One and Part Two, was that like because of Indiana Jones? Like, there's always a theme connecting for you to replay something.
Right. Yep. The Outer Worlds, as soon as the Outer Worlds 2 got announced, I jumped into one as soon as Oh, so actually, I think I jumped into The Last of Us Part 1 before Intergalactic. No, it wasn't before Intergalactic got announced. Maybe Intergalactic was the reason I jumped into The Last of Us Part 1. But I played Indiana Jones, and then I jumped into Uncharted and Far Cry. And then after jumping into Uncharted, I wanted to play more Naughty Dog games. So I jumped into The Last of Us 1 and 2. So yeah, yeah, there is always some interesting thread.
That's cool. Well, you did the same as me, booted up Soul Reaver and then didn't do anything in it. How much did you play of it?
Man, like 20 minutes, if
Yeah.
that. I was just like, dude, I don't want to play a PS2 game right now.
It is always the thing because I had that same experience last year with the first set of Tomb Raider games. They got the remaster. It was like I will enjoy this at some point, but I'm just not in the mindset for it now. Like I
Yeah.
need something that's not because as good as these games are and as beloved as they are, them control schemes are something that you have to tolerate to get through. And it's just like I
Yes.
just want to like unwind and not have that as like a thing I need to think about.
Do you ever think that, and this is just you and I talking, this is something I wouldn't probably wouldn't say on Unnecessary Rambling, but I'll say it here. Do you ever think that people lie about liking games that like for cool points? Because there's shit where I'll be playing stuff, and I'm not saying people necessarily lie about liking Tomb Raider, the classic games for cool points, but I'm like, man, as much as I love the old school tank based horror games, I'm like, how are y'all earnestly sitting there saying that these games? Because you'll hear the argument a lot for Resident Evil 1 remake, where people are like, it shouldn't be remade. It's already remade in the perfect package. And I'm like, dude, let's take a breath for a moment and try for 1 second to not care about internet cool points. You
Hmm.
know that that's such bullshit. And I'm not saying that those games aren't great. Resident Evil 2 from 1998 is my favorite game ever. But like the amount of people that want to play that versus the amount of people that want to play the Resident Evil 2 remake, are we kidding ourselves?
Exactly. That's the big thing. The kind of thing that I was thinking of when you brought that up as like a side tangent is how I've seen people be divided on Oblivion getting announced for a remake, and apparently they're changing the combat big time.
Good.
And there's a ton of people that are like, no, don't do that. And it's just like, look, I respect if you played it at launch and you loved it and you were from that era and stuff, but what you also need to keep in mind is that we have a bunch every single year you have a new generation of gamer. There's a new year of gamer that keep coming and it's just it never stops. So there's going to be people who are like 12 years old that to them if you handed them Oblivion, they're not playing, they won't make it out of that dungeon. It doesn't matter if they loved Baldur's Gate. There's a lot of them that would just be like, this is rough. I don't want to waste my time with this. It needs to be a certain level of quality because that's the
Right. Well,
whole
and
point.
it's like, dude, Oblivion's sitting right there. You can still download it and play it. And Resident Evil 1 Remake is still from 2002
Yep.
is still sitting right there. You can download and play. Like, why not make another version that'll sell exponentially? Well, maybe not more than Oblivion. Oblivion sold like hotcakes, but like, why not make a version that's more suitable for, people who like Oblivion still, but I mean, Oblivion is kind of rough around the edges, but
No,
make it.
it is so rough. I'll happily take the flack if people get pissed off at me saying that. It is bad in so many areas. It's got a
Yeah,
broken leveled system. The I have a big gripe with Bethesda combat. That melee combat is arse. That is
it's pretty
even worse
bad.
than Skyrim and stuff. Like it doesn't. There's no feedback whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, you are hitting air. That is true. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so yeah, I'm actually eagerly anticipating to see because I believe it's Virtuous doing it. I want to see what they can do.
Oh wow, yeah, Virtuous, the people making MGS3. They're
Yeah.
busy, huh?
Like I want to see what they can do. They were throwing like buzzwords around, don't get me wrong, to try and like generate interest, but they're saying that they want to do like I don't. They mentioned Souls combat-esque. I think what they're talking about is having something that actually feels impactful. I don't think they're going to genuinely make it a third-person stamina-based thing. Because if they do that, that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Imagine rolling around on the ground in first person. Oh man, that's
Oh yeah.
funny. You see, I jumped into Marvel Rivals right there. I'm
Yep.
trying to dabble with a that was my goal for 2025. I want to jump into a service game, but that's
How
not the
did that go?
one. As you see, 1% trophy success rate. Yeah, no,
I
I
want to
don't want to play
know
a game
what it
like
was
that.
that you got out of curiosity.
You know what
Hey,
I
look at
think the cert
you. Free player
what is it?
KO. Free.
73% of people get it. That's probably the most common trophy. And honestly, I didn't even know that the Punisher was like overpowered. And the Punisher's one of my favorite Marvel characters ever, so I just picked him. And I was mowing motherfuckers down with the Punisher. Um, but dude, you know what I think the live service game I'm gonna jump into in 2025 is gonna be? That Sifu developed soccer game. Developers of
Ah.
Sifu
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Rematch. Yeah.
That does look good. It's meant to be
Yeah.
like very arcadey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
And it's like 3 on 3, I think, maybe. It's like smaller player count, but like you got that over the shoulder view. It seems like everything's a little bit more impactful, immersive, whatever the word I'm looking for is.
it's multiplayer, right?
Yep.
Like, not just like you versus someone else. It's team based, right?
Teams, yep. Teams of 3, I think.
I
We'll
should
hop
check
on
that out
together.
myself.
Yep.
Sounds cool.
Maybe get someone from the community as like a third
Hmm?
member, and that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of these that you want to touch on specifically?
Uh,
This, oh my God, that hurts my soul, but we'll get to that. Jesus
yeah, that shit sucked.
Christ.
Um, no, I really don't. I mean, replayed Greedfall, played through Deus Ex Mankind Divided for the first time. Loved that. I got scammed once again with my digital wanting to buy indie things. I saw basketball and I was like, all right, I'm buying it regardless of what it is. That shit is dog
I want
ass.
Basketball Legends 24.
Yeah, do not buy that. Anybody who's a basketball fan, avoid, avoid, avoid. That is just like thrown together slop.
You're one of four.
Yeah, good. And I'm sure the other 4 people feel exactly how I do. That is rough, man. It's virtually unplayable.
Damn. Oh, I didn't even know that they see
Yep,
that's the thing I'm envious about. PlayStation get a lot of like classic titles that Xbox don't get anymore. They shut down that backwards compatibility program
that's what I was
and
about
they've
to
just
say.
shunned retro games essentially.
Isn't that wild how that happened? Like
Yep.
Xbox totally dominated the conversation around backwards compatibility early on. And now it's kind of shifted with, which I do appreciate PlayStation diving into that premium. And I have the PlayStation Plus premium subscription for PlayStation Plus because of like, man, every now and then, like, I don't know if you saw it up there, but like Ape Escape Academy.
Mm.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll jump into a fun little, just I dick around with it for 45 minutes. Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything on there you find interesting? You just kind of point them out. We'll kind of point them out together. Conscript's a cool
Oh,
PS1 inspired horror
yep.
game that people should check out. It's really, really hard, but it's cool.
That's the
Um,
top-down kind of game, right?
yeah,
From what I
yeah,
saw from the screenshots. And you're in like trenches and stuff.
yep. It's more top down than like a Resident Evil Silent Hill classic thing, but it plays somewhat similar in that vein, a little bit more action. Um,
How much did you play of Slitherhead? Because I posted in the Discord if anybody had played it. Because it's one of them things where I know people have said it's rough,
yeah, it is.
but I like Eurojank stuff, as you're aware. So the feeling of a game is never gonna like put me off from like a combat perspective and stuff. Like if that's rough, that doesn't really bother me as long as it's something unique and I can feel that there's a vision, and even if they didn't capitalize on that vision, like is it something that has intrigue in it, what it's trying to tell?
I was trying to see if there's a way I can tell how many hours I put into it, but I'd say roughly 3 to 5, somewhere in there. I can't find specific hour count on the PlayStation app, but yeah, I'd say somewhere 3 to 5. I think you'd probably like. aspects of it, it's got a cool gritty tone that I dug a lot. And if the combat was just a little bit better, I would have powered through it.
Okay.
And if some of the story presentation was a little bit stronger, like you have to slog through these sections that are not like visual novels, but it's just like these still, you're clicking on still boxes and it's progressing the story that way as a character just sits there and nothing really happens. It's kind of bizarre. Um, but yeah, so
Redfall-esque with like still images.
no.
No,
Redfall's way better. Redfall has much better presentation than Slitterhead.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
yeah, it's really bad. That part of it's really bad. But then they have actual cutscenes and stuff as well. Like so, well, I should say Slitterhead has better overall presentation, but the specific thing that I'm talking about, Redfall's visual novel presentation dog walks Slitterhead's weird thing that it does.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, you see, I've been trying these ease games. I
Mhm.
played through. I didn't play through, I should say. I dabbled with the one that just came out recently, and I also picked up Nordic
Yeah.
last year.
I think I did one last year as well.
They're kind of cool, man. They're kind of
Uh,
fun.
Are they all the same? Because the one I played, I believe it was Yee's Origins. It was kind of like a Diablo-esque like camera angle.
Well, yeah, that's the cool thing about the Foul Gala or whatever, the one I played recently. It was more Diablo-esque, and then
Okay.
Ease X is more like Final Fantasy-esque. It seems like they got some unique stuff going on.
Oh, that's interesting. Because that's the only one I've ever dabbled. I think that's the only one that made its way to Xbox was Yee's Origins. We never got any more Yee's games.
Oh wow.
So,
Um, but yeah, you see Veilguard, played a good bit of Veilguard, put like 40 hours into that. Life is Strange Double Exposure, finished that. Alan
so
Wake
the
2,
you'd
finished that.
finished. Did you finish?
Yeah. Yep, finished Alan Wake 2.
Fear
Finished
the
Fear the
Spotlight finished.
Spotlight.
So that's what I
Finished
mean.
Squirrel.
Like we have not elements. We have moments where you dip in and out, but there's plenty of titles that you roll credits on.
Well, yeah, and it's the weird thing too, like games like Disco Elysium that give you fucking no real support for finishing their game, no trophy support. And then even Batman Arkham Origins, I finished that, and I think that was like 16%, but I think there's some DLC and stuff for that as well that might be skewing that. But yeah, finish a good bit. But then you see the Jack X dabbling with the premium, Cool Borders dabbling with the premium, Sky Gunner, War of the Monsters, Time Splitters 2, Mr. Mosquito, Hot Shots Golf 2, like just really
What
dabbling
a
with premium.
what a picture. I think
Yeah,
that's
man.
the it does make people's lists messy when they care about that kind of thing, but that's kind of if profiles existed all the way back when Blockbuster existed,
Right.
this is how like people's profiles would look because it wasn't
Yeah.
you didn't roll credits on every single thing you rented.
Yeah.
Like you dipped in
Yeah.
and out and you were constantly like, oh, I've had enough of that. Let's go switch out something else, something else, something else.
Right. The only thing you're gonna see me really finish is story related stuff. You know what I mean? Like if like I'm not gonna jump into Jet Moto and try to power through the entirety of Jet Moto or Hot Shots, whatever. Like I'm gonna power through Silent Hill 2 because I'm into the story. I'm gonna power through um even something like Deep Beyond, as kind of uninteresting as that is, I was into the story, so I'm going to see it through. And then you'll see, of course, you'll see the sports games that I just love playing that end up getting high percentage counts as well. But I try to still stay true to like that old school childlike enthusiasm with gaming where I want to check a little bit of everything out. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily I want to finish the stuff that I love and finish the stuff that I'm having such a great time with, but I want to kind of know a little bit about a lot. Um,
So you kind of
so
have
yeah,
the
man.
same mentality. You want to finish the stuff that you love. You want to roll credits on the stuff that you love in the same way that I want to 100% the things that I love.
Right,
First, kind of.
exactly.
And out of curiosity, metaphor
Hmm.
is something that you dipped out of. Have
Yep.
you ever rolled credits on like a traditional turn-based JRPG like that?
No,
You've never
never,
finished
man.
one?
Never. And I'm constantly trying, dude. Like, it's not for a lack of effort. I'll tell you that. Because even, uh, I don't know if I got it. I picked up the Dragon Quest, the
Yeah, it was up
HD2.
here. Yeah, up here. Where was it?
Okay. It's somewhere up there, man. I picked that up and I I heard such great things about it, so I picked it up and I'm like, surely this can be the one. It's only like 20 something hours. Surely this can be the one. I can't do the random battle encounters that are just so frequent, dude. It's because it takes it for me in my brain where it's like, okay, I'm playing this thing for 20 hours that I'm somewhat liking, but I'm aware that you're stretching it into a 20-hour thing when in reality, if we had just normal battle encounters that were like the average standard amount for games, I'd be in and out of this in 7, 8 hours. Like, why are we bloating it to this degree? Um,
It's because
and Metaphor didn't feel like that at all. Metaphor, I felt like I was making such good progress on,
it's just a
but then
juggernaut.
it's just so big, man. And then you started seeing the October Silent Hill 2s and Dragon Age and this and that that I'm diving into. Um,
Yep.
and I got distracted.
I mean, that's fine. You got a decent amount because that's probably the getting 15%. That's like 20 plus hours,
Yeah, I
one would
played probably
imagine.
30 hours into it, something like that. Yeah. Um, just
Uh,
Beyond Galaxy Land is really cool. I'll just kind of shout out the cool games real as we breeze through. That I definitely recommend. Marvel vs. Capcom is fantastic. College football, there's the platinum.
yep,
Just so fun to play.
13%. It's pretty decent. So few trophies. That's crazy.
Right, and that's kind of
16
another reason
trophies.
I ended up going through it and doing it. I was like, oh shit, it's not a hard one at all. Yeah, it says I platinumed it in 3 weeks in one day, so
Mm,
not not a long platinum whatsoever. And that's me just having fun too, not trying to platinum it until, I saw that I had like 80%. Like, well, sure, I'll knock out
yeah.
this next two trophies.
So this, just in case you weren't like 100% understanding of that, is that's from when you booted the game up until you rolled the platinum. 'Cause
Yeah,
some people get it mixed up with actual playtime. That's not 3 weeks of playtime. That's
right. So,
from starting it to rolling it. Because you have some people that when they do these profile reviews and they are actually like trophy hunters, it's cool to be like platinumed in like 9 years and you look back on like that whole journey of like going back to it and stuff.
oh
It's
wow.
really cool and
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if my profile is necessarily going to be for I guess that's why we set it up top.
Yep.
Um, that hopefully people understand that this is going to be more of just it's I don't know what the right term is for me. Like I'm not a casual gamer. I'm not a but I like I'm somewhere in the
You're a
middle.
seasoned you're a seasoned gamer.
Yeah.
You're not
I'm
like
not
an
fully.
extreme trophy hunter and stuff like that. You if anybody has ever doubted like your pedigree for opinions and stuff, you clearly touch upon tons of different things and you get a decent amount in the things that, you really enjoy. So like when people were to ask you for an opinion on Space Marine 2 and Astrobot, like you've played enough of these games where you could give a formulated opinion and it have weight.
Right. Yeah, I finished Space Marine 2, the story. I finished Astro about the story, but like that's the thing where my urge is always to move on to the next thing. Like I never want to stick with stuff too long. But it's also, I got to be real. The type of content I do, it benefits from playing quite a few games as frequently as possible. Um, but I finished like 50 plus games last year in terms of beating the story. So like, yeah, I finish a lot of shit, but I dabble with even more.
Yeah, and that's important as well to give different versions and that's why it's cool that when we bounce off each other on like your channel when we're talking and stuff is that I bring that perspective of like an achievement hunter mindset as it were and playing games and then you're a lot more open to jumping in and out of things.
Yeah. I would say I'm a very hardcore uh dabbler. Like I'll jump around. I'm a hardcore jumper. Hardcore, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is here. I play a ton of games, but I definitely do not play games as completely as you do. You know what I mean? I think that that's the distinction. And then whenever we pull up Loon's Loon's list, you'll definitely see that. Um, But yeah, thank goodness you're here. That's another one that it's like I don't know why I didn't go back and finish that. A little like hour and 30-minute long game. It was really cool, great humor.
But it shows because it's the same day that you started Kingdom Come. So I don't know
Mm,
if that's around about the time that
that makes
Kingdom Come
sense.
2 maybe a trailer dropped and that kind of pulled you away from it. You boot it up and then was like, oh God.
Yep. That makes sense. That makes total sense. And then also Star Wars Outlaws was right around that time as well. So that was just a bad, that's probably why I ended up
And
putting
Bounty
Kingdom Come
Hunter.
down as
So
well.
Bounty Hunter was the thing that you jumped into first and then
Yeah,
second. So
that's funny.
did you beat Bounty Hunter?
No, I'm like 65% of the way through it. I beat it back in the day on the PS2, but I uh
I
I probably
haven't.
I like that game a lot.
I play like the opening hour, and it's one of them things where it is around that time. Like out, I think it's because Outlaws released so close. I didn't want to like double up on Star Wars too
Star
much, and I
Wars.
did the same
Yeah.
thing you did with the System Shock remake. I booted it up, played it, and was like, I could probably go back and do this one day, but just not now.
Yeah, it's a time and place game for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got the physical of it. It's a time and place thing.
and
Um,
so this time period was the time we had to like take a bit of a pause. This was Baldur's
yep,
Gate 3. So that
yep,
kind of
yep,
makes
yep.
even more sense as to why there's a lot more gaps.
Yeah, that was the old hole in the esophagus. Fucking scariest shit of my
Yeah.
life. Um, I think that the game I played go down a little bit. It might have been like those. No, that was after the hole in the esophagus, I think. Playing those FMV games because I wanted something chill. Yeah, I think it was right around this time, American Fugitive and Technomancer,
Mm,
stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, I could be a little bit off, but yeah, I what a time, what a time. Um, and then Stellar Blade. I need to go back and finish Sandland, man. I was
yeah,
enjoying
so
a
do
good,
I.
you know,
I don't know why I put it down.
I was enjoying that a good bit.
Yeah.
Um, Dragon's Dogma 2, I don't really know what I finished that one as well. I don't know. I didn't dabble with I didn't even look at the trophies in that game. Let's
Um,
see. A 70% on Outcast. I played the
yeah,
shit out of
dude,
that thing.
number one fan. Let's go. What are you missing?
Yeah, I might need to go and grab that.
Spending some money. Oh, it's
Yeah, see,
collectibles.
you see though, that's the thing, man. Is like just go and spend some money. What an easy trophy that I could go and knock out in 2 seconds. I just don't think about stuff like that at all. Like I did this is a game that I got 70% in without once looking at the trophy list, I don't think. So I'm sure a lot of these I could you have glided for 3 straight minutes without hitting the ground. Like how easy would that be? My jetpack is fully maxed out at this point.
Yeah.
I could do that. I could literally do that in 3 minutes. Are there any like high ranking trophies that I could go get easily?
What do you mean high
What are,
ranking? What
like
percentage?
silvers and golds?
Uh,
You've
unlocking all
unlocked 32. Oh, I
skills.
could do that and I could do that.
But a lot of
32
it, from what it
modules.
looks like, is these are like collectibles, maybe.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
mean,
remember.
nice. I'm gonna go back and look at that. Get some easy
Hmm.
trophies. Maybe platinum it.
That would be so cool. I think that would be cool for you to do. Maybe like once a year. Something like going back as like a backlog thing and doing like a platinum of a game that you absolutely rave about.
Yeah, Outcast a New Beginning, top 10
Like,
game of the year for me.
I think that would be cool to have.
Yeah, I love that game. WWE 2K24, I could easily go through and platinum those, I would assume. I just don't look at the trophies. 37% on Rebirth, 36% on uh Banishers and Grand Blue. Finish those. San Andreas, finish that one. Finish Vice City.
These
Oh,
are
so this.
rough. These are rough for trophy lists.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Sorry.
14% for finishing it. Um, yeah, so right here you'll actually see is where I connected my PlayStation 3 for the very first time on
Oh,
December. Well, I don't know about December 13th exactly, but sometime around that time because I wanted to play. Uh, I saw a video where someone was talking about the real Avatar. The real Avatar game is the PS3 one. That's the best Avatar game. So you see, it's right after I played Avatar on the PS5. I was like, oh well, let me check that out. And Yeah, it's not that great, but
No, I
it is.
wouldn't have expected it to be.
And it's also Ubisoft as well. It's another
Mm.
Ubisoft Avatar game, which is so weird. But so yeah, that was when I connected my PS3 for the very first time was with Avatar the game.
So none of these games from the list moving on downwards will be any PS3 titles.
Nope, zero PS3 from that point forward.
And that is a Pandora's box that you can open.
Dude,
Wait,
I
hold on.
went.
Oh no, because Alpha Protocol must have been on the 360 is how you played that, right?
Yep, I got the whenever we do, or I don't, if we do my Xbox achievements, you'll see.
Yeah.
I think I'm at like 60% finish on Alpha Protocol
That's
on
one I want
Xbox.
to 100% at some point. It annoys
Yeah,
me. It's hard to try and like 100% like 360 games that are stuck on the 360
yeah,
because the quality of life and stuff is just so hard to swallow nowadays.
totally. Yeah, I got my 360 still hooked up. Got my PS3. I just recently hooked my PS3 back up. Um, So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of PS3 in this year. Venba's probably a super easy one to platinum. It's really, really good story there. And yeah, so now we're into 2023. We can just kind of run through this. Lego 2K Drive is real good for anybody who's into racing games. Viewfinder's a really cool puzzle game. Mm, Star Trek Resurgence, if you're a fan of Star Trek, I'd probably check that out.
Are
Telltale
you
like game.
out of
No.
curiosity? Because I that's the thing. Like I've always been more attracted to Star Wars and stuff.
Same.
And I actually went back last year and grabbed a bunch when the 360 store was closing. There was a bunch of Star Trek games and stuff. And I ended up grabbing them because I knew that they were going to be things that like creep up in value over time.
Yeah.
And I haven't booted any of them up apart from Resurgence. And it's actually like fairly well made.
Oh, Resurgence is good, like
Like it's
legitimately.
actually a decent game. And I was like, this is exactly what you want from something like this, where it's like you're not a fan of the series. You've piqued my interest enough that I might actually, check a movie out or two.
Well, dude, I think Resurgence is good enough to get someone into Star Trek. Like
Mm,
it's really, really good. And I started seeing a lot of Mass Effect similarities while playing Resurgence. And I was like, damn, well, maybe if Star Trek, because Mass Effect's definitely not as actiony as Star Wars. And I know Star Trek was always talked about as like the less actiony version of Star Wars. I'm like, damn, is Mass Effect more comparable to Star Trek than Star Wars? So I'm gonna have to jump into some Star Trek
yeah.
in our 12 months where we're never gonna play a game.
Oh, spoiler alert.
I know it. See, Spider-Man 2, that's one as well where it's like that would have been such an easy platinum. Um, where I got like 40% literally just doing the main story and barely dabbling with the side content. Dude, that is crazy. BioShock, I do not have any trophies for. I swear to God, right hand to the Bible, I finished BioShock 1 on the PlayStation 4. It's not a PS3 thing. I finished that on the PlayStation 4 and I have zero trophies for it. There's actually there's a period in 2020. I don't know what happened. I don't know maybe if that was when I changed my name on the PSN so it corrupted some of the trophies or something. But there's a period because I know BioShock's in that period. I know that there's one I think Outlast 1 if I'm not mistaken is in that period. And there's a couple other games that I 1000% finished that I do not have any trophies of that it's like just totally vanished.
Yeah, that
I
is
think
very
Resident Evil
bizarre.
3, if I'm not mistaken, Resident Evil 3 might also be in there.
The
Um,
remake.
yeah,
Okay.
which is like a 3 hour thing, 4 hour thing. I know without a doubt I finished that thing. Um,
Ah, that makes me sad. Was that rough in the end?
yeah, WrestleQuest. So WrestleQuest, did I tell you the story about that? I bought it and played 3 hours of it. The game completely broke, and I asked for a refund, and they said I played too much of it. They couldn't give me a refund, and I was like, "This, my friend, is why I buy physical fucking media."
Yep.
Sorry for dropping F bomb on your channel.
Oh,
Um,
there's the gate is wide open by all means. There's there's no filter here.
but yeah, man, that's why I buy physical media. It's like, dude, even if I could take it back to GameStop and they wouldn't give me a full refund or take it back to wherever and they wouldn't give me a full refund, at least I could get 40 out of my $70 or whatever
Yeah,
the case may be. Um,
absolutely.
did you play any of Atlas Fallen?
I actually did, and I
It's not
didn't
bad.
hate it.
Yeah,
I
it's not
just
bad.
kind of fell off of it. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of it because it was Deck 13, right? That put
Yep.
that out. It just hurts my soul that they went and made that instead of giving me either a Surge free or doing Lords of the Fallen 2.
Right.
Because it was a fun game, but it's like I don't need something like this from you guys. This isn't what you do that's really strong. Like Lords of the Fallen 1 was okay. If I'm being like completely non-biased, it was an okay first footing. The Surge 1 and 2 are incredible. That's
Right.
them that they've clicked and they've gone, all right, this is how we're gonna do a spin on Souls. Like it's kind of like how Team Ninja did like the Neo games. They all
Mm.
play similar, and they've had that as an inspiration and stuff. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Atlas Fallen for like aspects of it, but I don't know. I don't know if I won't promise that I'll get back to it.
Bro, can you do me a favor and click on Killer Frequency? I want to see what I'm once again just totally not even in my field of view of what like if
It
I
was a
had 80%
fairly
on that.
common platinum.
Yeah. I mean, if I got 80% on it, let me go knock out
Don't
Nobody
know what that
Survives the
is.
Whistling Man. Okay. So
So there's a
play
bunch
all
of miscellaneous
records.
stuff. So collectibles.
Oh, dude, that would be an easy platinum. I'm already at 80%. I got like 5 trophies to
Play a
get, something
sound
like
on the
that.
soundboard during a call.
Oh my God, how easy. Yeah.
Place
Okay,
the
cool.
mannequin head in the fridge.
See, and that's the
Oh, would that be a
no, I could do that easily because I know how to do it now. I know
okay?
like yeah.
So for me,
And if I
like
really
speed running things I hate with a passion.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, if like this is one of those games where you can pause it and just get the solution and put it in if you really wanted to. But like that's that once again, I don't like doing that because I don't ever want to play a game where I'm more so targeting something like that of trying to get through it quickly just to pop an achievement, opposed to playing it naturally where I feel that I'm able to. Because listen, if I'm gonna be real, the main reason I'm playing a lot of these games is to come back and inform the audience with my opinion on the game, where it's like, hey, this is how I felt about it. And if I'm playing it in a way that doesn't necessarily like that's why I typically every game I play, I just play on normal. And then
Mhm.
if it's too hard, I bump it down to easy. And I tell people, hey, it was too hard. And I bumped it down to easy. But I know that typically people are playing games on normal. They're not using guides. They're not doing all this stuff. So I try not to do that either. Just to keep the line of communication as simple and direct as possible. Um,
Absolutely.
Pursuit Force is fun as hell, dude. A PSP game, really fun. I'd recommend Game Deck for anybody who likes Disco Elysium
Mm.
games like that. Really cool. Bramble the Mountain King is so dope. Jedi Survivor is one of the best games of generation. Dead Island 2, finish that. Dredge, finish that. Forbidden West, finish that. Sleeping Dogs, finish that. Space for the Unbound, finish that. Dude, that's crazy as well. Chia, I swear to God, on everything that I finished Chia. Let's see what those trophies are. Maybe it's another one of those weird ones that is there a trophy for finishing? Reach the end game. Yeah, I right hand to the Lord. I finished
Do
here.
you leave on like a rock?
I'd have to boot up my thing. Actually, let me take that back. I don't. Maybe I didn't finish Chia. I'm almost 1000% positive that I did.
Wasn't
Um,
this a Game Pass day one game?
PlayStation Plus. Yeah.
No, I mean I think it launched on. Oh no, was it? Did it launch on PlayStation first? It was one of the two. It launched into one of the services day one.
I mean, I know I played it on PlayStation for sure. I know that I played this on PlayStation, and I know
Released in
that,
2023. Okay.
dude. I don't know, man. That's another weird one where like I am almost
Surely
one.
you would have got at least something.
Something, right?
Mm.
I wish there's no way to see how many hours I put into it, is there? It's not. It's not the biggest deal in the world if we can't
I
pull it
don't
up. I don't
believe
think.
so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's only if it's in like your recent things on your PlayStation Plus app.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, dude, if I yeah, let me take back the statement of I'm 1000% positive I finished it. I might not have finished, but I got far in that game without a doubt, and I think I finished it. But
Holy smokes.
what's that?
88%.
Yeah, and once Scars Above, that's another one that with not even once did I look at the
You
the
didn't look at
trophy
it
thing.
once?
Not one
Damn.
time. You just get those trophies just for playing the game.
Yeah, it's a collectibles,
See,
essentially
right there.
scanning all the enemies.
Yep, scanning, crafted yeah, stuff that like you could easily do in 2 seconds. I um killed
And then
an
two
yes,
miscellaneous.
right. So
Okay.
super easy platinum if I wanted to go back and get that one.
Holy crap. You did a lot, and I don't think I got that many in Wanted Dead myself.
Game's so stupid. It's so
It's
fun,
so
man.
dumb.
It's
So
so
dumb.
dumb. But yeah, it's I mean, Wanted Dead's one of the most unique games that I have ever played. It's
Maybe I
so
did.
weird.
Yeah, I must have actually. Got roughly about the same percent. I didn't know if you
Yeah.
did like a bunch of like the crane, like you maxed out the mini games and stuff like that.
Nah.
But no.
Yeah, I just
Ooh.
played it pretty normally, just like, all these games. Hogwarts finished that. Rise of the Tomb Raider finished that. That's a very low percentage for finish. I think they has DLC and
There's,
stuff included.
it shows you here. Like you can look. I don't know how like that picks
Oh,
up
right.
125 trophies in total. So a game will roughly launch with about, between like 40 and 60 on
Dude,
average.
story about Season of Letter to the Future. I actually contacted the developer because I was literally right at the end of the game, like 10 minutes left to go in the game, and
Yep.
I ran into a bug, and I can't figure out what to do. Like, there's supposed to be this guy on top of a van that you talk to, and the prompt doesn't pop up for me to talk to him. So it's like I'm literally 10 minutes away from finishing a game, and I couldn't finish it. It's not a bad game either.
I've only had
Uh,
two instances where I've had to do that as well.
yeah.
Pathfinder Wrath for the Righteous, I had to reach out to Alcat on the day of release because its
Yeah.
toolbar didn't work. And I was like messaging
Jeez.
them and I was like, am I an idiot? Like, am I missing something? Or is like this not working? And they're like, no, we've been bombarded today with this.
Yeah.
We're really sorry, but like there'll be a patch like the next day. And then the other one was Hellpoint. They released the DLC and there was no guides whatsoever online
That's
at the
so
time
funny.
for like doing all the stuff. So I was like figuring it out all by myself.
Yeah.
And there was one left, and I was like, I'm positive I've done this. And I reached out to them and I was like, have I like messed up? And they were like, what was your solution to doing it? And I was like, this. And they were like, yeah, it should have popped. And I had to
That's
do I
crazy.
had to do New Game Plus and do
Oh
the
my
whole DLC
God.
again to get that 100%. The dedication.
That is legit dedication, man. I don't have it in me. I do not have it in me. Um, yeah, so now we're into 2022. See, Bully is one right there that I tried to get into that groove of trophy hunting with, and I started to dislike it, and so I dropped it. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
so
down,
that's
where's
it for
Bully? Oh, there.
down
Uh,
right there, yeah.
they use a different thing for the UK, I think. I think it's blue for Bully as like a color.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
So I was looking for it. I was like, wait, there's no blue. What are you talking about?
Yeah, blue is the box art. It's the box art here as well. I don't know why
Mm.
it's that color. Um, let's see. Callisto finished that. Evil West finished that. Lost Judgment finished that. Dark
This is
Pictures Devil in
such
Me
a
finished that.
people shit on this game so much. You didn't play much of it, so you didn't think much of it.
I actually did play like 10 hours of it. I liked it a good deal.
I'm purposefully not finishing it.
Because you like
I
it so much, you
love
just
it
want to
that
savor it.
much. It's the kind of thing where I'm going in and I'm actually just grinding missions. I'm
Yeah.
not actually progressing the story. It's crazy. That's so
I
rare.
just for anybody that's an audio listener, which I don't know why people be an audio listener for this style of video, but Marvel's Midnight Suns is what we're talking about.
Yep.
For Axis, cooked up something pretty unique there.
So unique.
Um, but yeah, I mean, literally from the Callisto Protocol all the way down to the bottom of this list to New Tales from the Borderlands, I finished every single one of those games. I just
Oh yeah.
didn't go for any trophies in them. So
I
finished
mean,
Evil West Judgment.
you say that as well, and you look at the time frame. 29th, 29th, 5th, 15th, 22nd. So in that month, that's a little bit over a month. But
Hmm.
that's two, four, six, that's eight titles. And they're not like small titles. These are juggernauts.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll be playing this shit out them damn video games, man. We
Oh
both do
yeah,
that. I
man.
think that we do our due diligence for sure. Gotham Knights finished that. Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo finished that. Resident Evil 6 finished that. Valkyrie Elysium finished that. Spider-Man Miles Morales finished it. Little Orpheus finished it. Elden Ring, I finished that one, can't you tell?
You
I did not finish
did
that.
finish it. You finished your hands with it. You dusted your hands and
Yeah,
you're never touching that again.
I definitely finished that thing.
I'm just out of curiosity. What was the one
Yeah,
trophy?
what's the one thing I got? Watch it be like some rare thing, like die immediately.
Around
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, what a list.
And
What
the
a
crazy thing is
game.
like 38% of, no, hold on. Click on the platinum. Go to it. 10% of people have it.
So what that is, so I'll clear that up as well. So when I don't hover over it, that's 38% of people on the site. Then when you
Mm,
scroll over this, that's what it would show if you booted up your PlayStation and you looked at the
okay.
percentage. So it's 10%.
Okay. Which
But
is still a ton.
yep. People are rabid. People love these games.
They do.
People absolutely love these games. You're talking like, 95,000, like 250,000 people own it. 95,000 people have 100% it.
That's so
Like,
crazy.
people love it. People
Yeah.
love it.
And they will let you know.
Hell yeah.
Um, let's see. Saints Row, that once again talking about your branching thing. Saints Row playing the reboot led me to Gat Out of Hell, that led me to Saints Row 2, that led me to Saints Row 1 to 2 to Gat Out of Hell. Yeah.
Did you finish the reboot?
Yeah, finished it. Don't know why that's such a low thing.
Because it
Um,
had a ton of DLC, I
okay.
believe. But
Gotcha.
man, I couldn't. I really couldn't. I'm probably gonna go back at some point and try it again. It
I
just
know it's
didn't.
like,
It didn't click with me. It just felt different. It felt
yeah,
like you're
it's
trying
Dragon
to. It
Age'ified.
kind of like Veilguard in a way, but at least Veilguard like only for me, Veilguard only butchered characters. The
Right.
story itself, as long as you're a fan of the series, it kept that intact. Whereas with Saints Row, it you kind
Just
of
soft.
it's just like there's no characters from the previous game unless you bump into them later in the game. But like I know they weren't like some of the best written. They're not Joels and stuff, but like Gat and Shondi and stuff and Pierce.
Right.
Like I still cared about them. You
Well,
gave me four games with the damn people.
I wouldn't care about not having them brought back at all if the characters that they introduced for the first time were a little bit more interesting. Like
Yeah, they
these
were
brand
so
new
dry.
characters. I don't care about your student loans and all that horse shit. That's so fucking such a bland concept.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's see. Anything on here? Oxide Room 104, I'd recommend checking out. Obviously, Until Dawn. Rollerdrome is super sick as well. Chorus is one of the most fun games I've played in recent memory, man. If you like dogfighters, flight based, kind of zipping around, it's so cool where there's a mechanic in Chorus where it actually feels like you can drift your spaceship,
Yeah.
which is so nasty.
Yeah. It's not one I finished. I played it at launch and then put it down, and then I picked it up again recently and then put it back down again. But it's going to be
It's
one of them
so
things where I go through it and do finish it. It's just going to be them things where it's like I'm chipping away at it over time. So much
it's
fun,
so
so
fun,
unique.
man. Um, And there's your favorite game, Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, sitting there at a solid 9%. I'm a
Just,
C.
just out of curiosity, like how many people? Eight
Damn,
thousand people.
8,000 owners. That's not bad.
More people bought this than Pillars, for fuck's sake. Come on, man. This is ridiculous.
I do not doubt that,
How
unfortunately.
many platinum people? 417 platinum achievers. Man, do you know what? That might actually be one of platinum.
Oh my God,
I
Loaf.
might actually do that at some point in the future.
Give
I'm
yourself
that
a
masochistic.
the
I did
quarry is
Dolman?
excellent.
Dolman?
Yeah. I picked this up because of a fucking asshole on the internet saying it's more like Dead Space than it is Souls. It's like where Dead Space where, my friend? In aesthetic alone, maybe, and even that is a stretch.
Oh, I can't believe you had that recommended. But with that recommendation, like saying it's like Dead Space, that's cruel. That is cruel.
Unbelievable, man. So now we're into 2022. Order 1886, finished that. I need to go back to Middle Earth Shadow 4, man. I played like 3 hours of it. I was like, damn, this is so sick. The
That's the
combat's so
sequel,
good.
right?
Think so. I don't know anything about those games.
Shadow of Mordor, I think, was the first one, and then Shadow of War was like where you're doing like sieges and stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really good. The
And
DLCs were incredible as well.
the combat system is so good. Yeah. Seafood talking about combat system, one of my favorite combat systems ever. And that's my Sifu is the it's always gonna be my calling card when anybody calls me out on not playing Souls games. Be like, bitch, I beat Sifu. That's my one game that I'll throw out there for a hard game that I finished. It's obviously very different types of games, but Sifu was brutal, dude. Sifu was so hard to finish. Um, and that's probably my crowning achievement in difficult games of my adult life for sure.
You probably won't remember this, but I just want to be sure that I wasn't bullshitting you. You may have even done it. Yeah, this. You can avoid like an entire, where
Oh
is it?
wow. So like not killing anybody.
Yeah,
The game is
it's really
so
cool.
good, dude.
It's so good. It's one that I want to go back and 100%. But then the
Oh,
thing
because
that's,
you were talking about like you don't have to necessarily shoot the bosses, like you can think your way out of things. And I didn't
yeah,
know that. Right. Okay, I get what
there's
you're
like
saying.
little side things that you can do and like alternate things. But the thing that would, you didn't beat it.
So what?
It didn't give you the, no. You didn't beat it.
Oh, I was about to say, dude, I know
Yeah, you
for a
beat the game.
fact.
Okay. That's
Okay.
the ghost thing that you keep running into. That's for doing
Dude,
all of them.
I'll tell you a funny thing though. You're gonna see The Last of Us 2, and you won't see that I have a trophy for beating that game on PS4. Obviously, you saw that I beat it on PS5 earlier. You won't see it on PS4, and you know how I know that? Because when I finished playing The Last of Us on PS5, I was sitting there and like taking notes on my phone while the credits were going and all that, just playing on my phone. The trophy popped after the credits. I
Yep.
turned my game off before the credits on PS4. So I'll have like all the trophies leading up to it, but I won't have that. Like literally all I would, what, I don't even know if I would guess my save data would still be saved on the PS4. All I would have to do to get that trophy is
Yeah,
turn it on and
you'd
roll the
probably have to
credits.
do like a tiny section at the end and then roll credits again. Ubisoft games did that a lot
Yeah.
on the 360 back in the day. And the thing that was more criminal about that, their credit sequences are so long.
Yeah,
They're
because
like
they got
30
8,000
minutes long.
studios.
Exactly,
Yeah.
they're about 30 minutes long. It's like, man, for me to get this story to say that I've done it, I have to sit through all this crap. You don't give me a skip. This is cruel.
Yeah. Dying Light 2, underrated, man. Uh, oh, those I'm gonna go and play through the full Walking Dead games on PlayStation on PS4 after I just did it on Xbox last year. That was like solely responsible for me boosting that damn achievement score that one month. Um,
Did you dabble in the Outer
Let's.
Wilds?
I played it for like 2 hours and I was like, yo, what in the hell am I supposed to do here?
Yeah, I think physical is like it's one of his favorite games of all time.
That's why I played it. Maybe not
Yeah.
because of him specifically. I don't remember if he commented that specifically on the channel, but I remember seeing so much love for it. And I was like,
Yep.
I jumped into it and I was like, this is a smart person game. I am not cut out for this.
This is a fun. That's a fun co-op game.
Yeah, dude, I
Me and
was
a friend
really.
went from start to finish in it, and it was a blast of an experience.
Yeah, Journey to the Savage Planet. I had a lot of fun playing that for. I played it for like 2, 3 hours, something like that. I was like, this is really good. I have no idea why I didn't finish that thing. Um, my most unpopular opinion, Shadow of the Colossus. I could not get into it all.
Right there with you.
Yeah,
Right there with you. I really tried to love it. It was one of the things I picked up on PS4 when I did own it,
yeah,
and I was like, I don't understand. Like what? Like maybe on the PS2 because it was a PS2 game originally, right?
yep,
That kind of makes sense when you're thinking about the scale that that would have been on that. But for me playing on the PS4 and stuff, I was like, it's okay. It's kind of rough, really, for me personally.
yeah. Um, it kind of felt like the way you talk about Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
I kind of feel that about Shadow of the Colossus as well. Like it was just the first time people had seen a game like that at that time, but now in retrospect, it's like hard for us to put those glasses on in modern times.
that is a
Um,
perfect comparison.
yeah.
Perfect comparison.
Uncharted Lost Legacy, dude. Anybody who likes Uncharted and you haven't played that, please check that thing out. The gameplay is so good in that. Witcher 3, 50% on The Witcher 3 for the trophies. I'd probably put like 100 hours into that game. That's maybe the greatest
You
story ever
beat it
told
though,
in gaming.
right? Yep.
Huh?
Finished the game. I said you
Yeah,
beat it
oh
though.
yeah, of course, of course. Yeah.
You didn't
The
death
game is
march it.
Oh God, no.
I've
No.
said this so many times. It's actually not as bad. The opening 2 hours in Death March is the hardest part of that game. It's so well balanced where it doesn't feel like a slog after that because it feels like a dance. And the combat actually feels good when you're on Death March because of that.
Because you start being more intentional.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's a
that
lot
makes
more
sense.
you because you're paying attention, you're it's like I've said, it's a dance. Because
Right.
of also how flamboyant he is
Yeah.
with his with his attacks.
Yeah. I saw on Twitter, I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw somebody do a cool sequence, like a cool combo where he like
Yeah.
rolled over someone's back or something, chopped a dude down. Like, yeah, there's some cool combat in that game. I shit on it a lot, but uh, it's great. It's just the story is so, so good. I never really gelled with the combat, but once again, I probably should have bumped up the difficulty. Um, I actually bumped down the difficulty on The Witcher 3. I was like, dude, I don't care about this combat whatsoever. I just love the
Yeah,
story
that's
so
fair.
much.
A lot of people did, and you just want to get through them story segments.
Yeah. So I think that's actually going to be next right there for me, Mass Effect 2. I think I'm going to go straight into that. I was thinking, so here's my thought. I'm either going Mass Effect 2, Alpha Protocol, or Infamous 2. That's what I really want to. What?
11 trophies? What?
Oh, I think it's just yeah, it just shows like
Oh,
yeah, for the full thing.
man, PlayStation, you're wild. The hell is this?
Y'all don't have that on Xbox for the Legendary Edition?
So, if somebody like knows, they'll end up posting it in the comments. I believe PlayStation have a trophy cap per list because that's why you have like for
Oh,
Minecraft, it's been constantly updated, but they've
that
had to
makes
actually
sense.
separate it and it has multiple lists. So that's what this was because it was 3 games worth. They've just bunged these in here. That's so messy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas on Xbox, you every single Mass Effect game is under one list. It's just 3000 G in total.
I so is Mass where's Mass Effect 1 though?
Mm, I don't think we've scrolled through it yet. I don't think
Oh,
we've got to it.
I played Mass Effect 1 and 2 back to back whenever that Legendary Edition came out. It's all good. Who the fuck knows, man?
I'm
I
sure we'll stumble on it.
yeah. I mean, regardless, if I can go and get some Mass Effect 1 trophies on If I can go and grab those on the Legendary Edition, if those didn't pop, I'll happily do that after I just did it on the PS3. I love Mass Effect 1 so much, man. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, 78%. Let's
Oh, what play was
see.
on? You beat the game, obviously.
Yeah, of course. That game's so good.
And it's just miscellaneous like combat actions.
And once again, that's another one that I never checked the trophies for at all. Any of these, pretty much, I never checked the trophies for unless it was in the last like year or two. Um, Far Cry 6, Jesus, 100 trophies.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That is
I like
ridiculous.
the Far Cry games, but they just so you have the full list, right?
Pad, yeah.
Which is already enough. That's tons of trophies, man. And then it got one, two, three, four, five, six
God.
DLCs. And that is what it is like for every single Ubisoft game. That's why it's
Yeah.
taken me so long to get through Valhalla. I beat the main story, and it was, I think the last thing I did was the Paris DLC. I'm still not through with the game. Like, it just, you add like 8 content drops every time.
Why the hell do they make so much DLC when they could just like put that talent onto a new thing? That's kind of weird.
I have no idea.
Um,
No idea.
Kane and Bridge of Spirits. Kane and Bridge of Spirits is an interesting one. I'm like right there at the end of that one. I never ended up finishing that, but I was really enjoying it. Deathloop, um, fucking pretty solid Deathloop. Hades, I finished. Can you see if it shows the trophy for finishing a run of Hades? If there is a trophy of that?
Mhm.
Because I did finish one run of Hades and I ended up putting it down. Um,
I believe that would be the.
Clear and escape attempt. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. So that is one that it's probably one of my more unpopular opinions. I don't really get it, man. Hades is good for sure, really good, but I hear people talking about it's like one of the greatest games ever, and I'm like, God,
It's
I mean, everybody's opinion is different, obviously, but for me, I was
it's
like,
kind
it's
of
cool.
so I guess shining a light on it would be the same way of you being like uh people raving about Souls likes. Because that falls into the camp of people who like I like it a little bit less, but it's than The Binding of Isaac, for instance, but it's that kind of like addictive, like they are they take over so much of your time. Like when we get
Yeah.
to my list and we end up going over Isaac, I've got like 1,000 hours in Isaac.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just that kind of thing. A roguelike just eats time. And if
I
you're not
get
the
you.
type of person that will sit down and constantly like every night, like doing a couple of runs before bed, it becomes like a routine almost.
Yeah.
If it's just
Yeah.
you're trying to get through it, like with what you did with Hades, that's that's it's not its intended purpose. So that's why it's not going to click as much.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I played a good deal of it, and I played it the way that I think it was intended to be played, of just you're trying to get through a run, right? Isn't like that's the
Yeah, you
basis
just
for
you
the
to beat it, but you is to continue after. Get more and more
yeah.
endings because you got one
Oh, okay.
ending, and that's kind of like with the Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
You beat the game in air quotes. It rolls a cutscene. Then when you go back to the main menu and you begin another run, new paths will open up. That's the kind of like roguelike thing of that's how they get 1,000 hours of content out of it.
Right. It's so funny. I'm like, even Balatro, as much as I like Balatro, as soon as I finished the run, I was like, yep, cool. I don't have that thing in my brain for whatever reason. Um, let's see. The Forgotten City's so good. So damn good, man. Um, what else do we have here? Red? Oh, Hellblade. Yeah, I finished Hellblade this year I finished I finished Hellblade 1 last year for the first time on Xbox. Um, yeah,
I
I don't
didn't.
like that game at all.
I can't enjoy it. It's just not for me.
I cannot blame you whatsoever, my friend. Cannot blame you.
Damn. Was this a 360 that you played it on then? 0% for Red Dead
Oh,
1.
is that
Oh,
PS3?
these are all PS3 games. Red Dead 1, Mirror's Edge.
Oh, oh,
Interesting.
the streaming. Because you know they
Ah,
have that thing on there on PlayStation Plus where you can stream the games. I stream
that makes
those.
sense. That's why
Yeah,
they've also been down here. Okay, cool.
right. And that's also why that
Why they're
I
0%?
yeah,
Because
because
it's
I was
unbearable.
yeah, it's absolutely unbearable. Um, let's see. Hold on. What were you talking about before that go up? There was something you had mentioned.
I mentioned
Um,
Red Dead.
oh, Red Dead, right. I finished Red Dead on the Series X through backwards compatibility last year.
The way it should be played.
Yeah,
A free
absolutely.
almost remaster
Pretty much.
from Team Xbox.
Uncharted 2, iconic. Evil Within 1, iconic. Rift Apart, classic. Oh, there it is, Mass Effect. Why is Mass Effect so far away from the? I think I thought I played those back to back. Maybe I didn't. So yeah, there's Mass Effect 1 on the PS4, the Legendary
It's one
Edition.
of the rougher achievement lists. Just to
Does it?
quickly highlight on it. So the other games, your grindy achievements are for using your powers and difficulty related. So this
Hmm.
has the difficulty related ones and the powers, as you can see. But it has, and I'm so glad they never brought this back. You have completionist. Complete the majority of the game. So that's doing like tons and tons of side quests. And then they tie it. Okay, they reworded it. So the original list, it was complete the majority of the game with an
Yeah, I
alliance member,
saw that on the
a Krogan member,
PS3.
and it was like you want like 6 playthroughs out of me for this
Yeah,
because you physically cannot complete the majority of the game in one playthrough with any more than two allies. That's
yeah, I saw that on the PS3
baffling.
when I was playing through it this time. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Now I get it. I didn't even know what that meant.
Yep,
Um,
that hurts. And what screws
mm,
people out of this one as well, just to give you a little bit more of the old achievement knowledge, in the very opening section, if you don't ask Anderson about one extra bit of like conversation thing, he never brings it up again, and that's what screws people out of this achievement. Every other
oh
entry,
Jesus, really?
you don't really like have a opportunity to. It's unmissable. You can go back and like grab them and stuff. It's so rough doing something like that. And like the opening 10 minutes when he's on the Normandy for the first time,
Right.
and you don't like prod him for everything. So
That is so funny. Um, yeah, all-time classic game, dude. It's literally one of the greatest games ever, in my opinion. So, so strong. Let's see. What else do we have on
you
here
enjoy
that
with Div?
is
You not a near fan?
no, not at all. I was roaming around, didn't know where the hell to go, and I was like, I'm out. It's no doubt a good game. Like it's a high quality game, but it is I
It's
had
a
no
very
idea where the
slow.
hell I was going. Yeah.
For the near replicant, it's extremely like the opening 4 hours are snail's pace,
Yeah.
but the story elements in the game are wild.
I want to play Nier Automata for sure. Definitely want to play Nier Automata. I picked that up recently. Oh, there I forgot that I oh well, do you not get it? Soma. Is that a platinum? There is no platinum, huh?
Oh yeah. So some games on PlayStation don't actually get plats sometimes. They just have
Interesting.
100%. I don't know what it is. I think you have to. There's something on PlayStation side. I don't know if you have to pay them like a fee to get the plat,
Hmm.
and some people forego it, or it's something that you can just not bother opting into. I don't know why you wouldn't. So I think it is something to do with like a fee or something. But yeah, Soma doesn't have a plat. So you technically doesn't
Have
have a
nine.
plat. So
Total of nine. But Soma is so, so good. It's unbelievably good.
yeah, it's one that's on my
And
backlog.
Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, I don't like as much as Jedi Academy, but still fantastic. Both of those games are fantastic. Little Nightmares 2, I love. Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood I like more than most people. Thought it was kind of fun, just silly third person, transforming from a man to a wolf to a werewolf.
So because Astro's Playroom existed, if that didn't exist, we would have had the same. That's the first next gen title we played. You did the same
That's
thing with
so
me. That is the
funny.
first next gen title that I played,
That
technically.
is so hilarious. I guess, yeah, just timing. I mean, if it came out in January or whatever, then yeah, that's
I
so
loved it.
wild.
It's from the World of Darkness universe.
Yep.
So that's the werewolf side instead of the vampires. Really cool. Has multiple endings and stuff.
Yeah,
Don't
I
know if
did.
I'll end up going back to it. I don't
I
really
know
like the
people.
werewolf side, but so yeah, cool.
Yeah, I know people hated that game. I did not find it to be that. It's like a little third person action game from back in the day. Like just felt like a PS2 game. I don't really understand a lot of the criticism for Earthblood, but
Who's
I
the
mean, I
dev?
understand the criticism. It's not great, but
Cyanide.
it's yeah, Cyanide, they did what did Cyanide? They did something else that was
Call of Cthulhu.
damn. Call of Cthulhu. Yep. Yep. There we go. That's a game we both like as well.
And okay, they have done more. I don't know why they're not showing. Oh yeah, Game of Thrones. Shout out to that. That's
Ah,
fun. That's
okay.
fun.
That's the you have the 360 PS3 one.
Yeah, Dragon Age Origins heavily inspired.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice, nice.
But the thing I wanted to give it credit for, dude, the shifting from human to wolf, that
Yeah,
animation was so smooth. For it
it
being a
was.
cyanide game, it's like, dude, you put like
Destructible
80%
environments.
of your budget into that. Like you should have probably spread that out a little bit more, but man, that was smooth.
There's some fun shit in there. You got like little minor destructible environments in those little arenas. That game's not bad. Um, Inertial Drift is so good. Twin stick drifting game, super, super good.
Yeah. So I guess the
Kakarot,
question is as well, did you want to end because you said from that to 2020, did you want it to be January 2020 or December 2020? Did you want to go through to January
uh,
2020?
yeah, we'll stop it here. We'll switch to yours and we'll go to yours and then we'll do 2020 to 2014 on the next one for mine.
Okay. Right. Well, we finished up on his profile and we'll be moving on to mine next, as you can see. A little bit of slicing and dicing because I don't know how. Do you see how long it ran for? Do you see the
It
timer?
says our meeting's 2 hours, and I mean we started pretty
So,
much as soon. Yeah.
so that'll probably be ending up being roughly about a 2 hour video. Mine's probably going to be another 2 hour video, maybe even. So I don't think it'd be wise to do a 4 hour like dump. So we'll split them into two and make it a little bit more palatable and easy to digest. So yeah, hope you enjoyed his part one to 2020, and then we'll be moving our way back, and we'll back and forth. So we'll do your part, your my part. If that
Perfect.
makes sense.
Perfect. Sounds good, man. Sounds
But
good.
you enjoy that as a concept? Was that fun to dive into that? Do you enjoy
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. And I think honestly, we might be able to do both of them in one next time now that we kind of, because the first like 30 minutes of it, us, we were just flowing through it and
Yeah,
talking. Weren't really even diving into the trophies. So yeah, I think we could even maybe make the next one part. But absolutely, dude. Fun as
cool.
hell.
Yep. Right. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoy the new series. And thank you very
Yeah,
much for joining me as well, Brandon. Make
absolutely,
sure to
dude.
plug your stuff because what benefits you
Unnecessary
benefits
rambling.
me.
Check us out on Unnecessary Rambling. Let's go make some bread.
All right, see you later.